Hi, this is Andrew from An American Artisan. I'm doing a little bit of a different style of video this time. We're shooting in my home shop, and I wanted to kind of take you into the creative process of designing this kitchen stool. It's dovetailed and it has splayed legs. It's going to add some strength and also adds a nice little challenge of cutting those splayed dovetails. I went through and I made this mock-up. It's an original design, so I wanted to make sure that it actually worked nicely, that it was a good size, that it was comfortable to use. And I felt the height was great, the width was great, but everyone who tried it out, we all kind of determined that it needed to be a little bit wider to get a little more of a stable footing when you're reaching up for something on a top cabinet shelf. We're going to change that design. I had a really nice curly maple board I wanted to use. It was just extremely figured. I want to show it to you here. We're going to make two of them. Because why not make two if we're making it. And we're going to mix the woods up. Maybe you guys can let me know what woods you like better. I have some nice cherry and some nice curly. And I planned on doing it at about 8 inches wide. And I had two 4-inch wide pieces I was going to glue up, get a nice sort of chevron pattern in the center with the curly maple. But when we decided to make it a little bit wider, I was posed with the question, oh, do I just get a new board or do I do something creative? So I decided to get a little bit of creative. I have some ribbon African mahogany here, and it's a really nice ribbony piece. And so I decided to add that into the center, sort of like a cutting board. I know those are really popular now. People like the contrasting woods. And I thought it would be a nice way that I could still use my curly maple board here that I've been saving for a while, but add another element to the design. So, you know, when we're making a new project, you know, you get to get a little creative like that. So we'll have to plan our dovetailing around that so they land evenly within the design of the glue up. But it made it so I could still use those boards. So we'll be making one set with cherry and African mahogany, which I thought was sort of an unusual pairing. They're close in color, but there's still some contrast. It makes that stripe a little more subtle. And here with curly soft maple and the African mahogany, and that has a nice sharp color contrast. And when we get some clear coat on this, the tiger stripes and that curly maple are really going to pop, and it's going to contrast nicely the horizontal tiger stripes versus the vertical flowing ribbon of the mahogany. So one thing that's important to me in this project is I want the grain to flow as it goes up, across, and down on the other side. I think that's a nice element. It shows that you've taken some care to lay out your boards. So I've glued this piece up in one continuous length, and I'm going to take my, my upright, my center tread, and then my other upright out of it in sequence, so that when the pieces together and dovetailed, you'll see that grain flow throughout, you'll see the figure flow throughout. It'll be a really nice put together piece. So I'm going to label that right now, then I'm going to take it over to the sliding compound miter saw, and I'm going to, first I'll need to cut them at 90 degrees to sort of break them up into their pieces, which is why I'm labeling them so that when they are apart, I put them back together in the right sequence. And then we'll start to cut our angles. And you can see I've splayed the side at 7 degrees. We're going to set the saw up for our 7-degree cut, and we're going to leave it there so that as we cut our pieces, we still have the angle set for later on when we put our apron piece on here. That will need to have the same angle cut on the side, and I think we're going to dovetail that in a little bit different style of dovetailing. So should be a great project. I'm going to take these over there and get these cut, and then we'll proceed and start making our splayed leg dovetail kitchen stool.